A hands-off government and no income tax. That's what Libertarian presidential candidate Ron Paul is advocating in his bid to win the election this year. Paul was in New Hampshire today to plug for conservative support. In Massachusetts, he appealed to the liberal voter. As Marcus Jones found out, the Libertarian agenda appeals to both attitudes.
Hi, Jim. How are you? Nice to see you.
Does this man look familiar to you? He should. After all, he's running for president. His name is Ron Paul, a 53-year-old physician from Houston, Texas. He served 8 years in Congress as a Republican. Last year, he quit the Republican Party and signed on as the Libertarian candidate for president because, he says, the Republicans under Ronald Reagan failed to balance the budget and reduce the size of government. Yesterday, he brought his campaign to New England.
The thing that made me click to leave the Republican Party was looking at the Reagan administration after 6 years and deciding that not only did he not reduce the size of government, he made it worse than anything any Democrat could have ever done by expanding the role of government.
So is a Libertarian just a more conservative Republican?
In free enterprise, yes, we're conservative. We believe in the free enterprise system. But we're more like liberals when it comes to civil liberties because we don't want to regulate lifestyles. We want to let people's privacy be respected, and we want to leave people alone.
Along with advocating the eventual repeal of income taxes and drastic reductions in government spending, Libertarians oppose U.S. intervention in the internal affairs of other countries.
We put $134 billion a year into Europe. So they have a GNP bigger than ours, so they should pay for their own national defense. We'd start bringing troops home.
Cut them off cold, bring the troops home.
Start bringing them home as quickly as possible.
On principle, Libertarians oppose restrictions on individual rights. They favor the legalization of drugs, and they're against gun control, censorship, and any form of discrimination. They are particularly opposed to economic discrimination that benefits the poor and the elderly at the expense of the middle class.
Well, if you have to realize that 80% of the welfare is welfare for the rich. You know, they have this system going, and they pretend that it helps poor people, and the poor people endorse the system. They throw a few crumbs to the poor, but you know, they collect enough money to give every poor family $45,000 a year. Have you ever met a family that got $45,000? They get $6,000 or $8,000. They live in poverty. A lot of poor families have nothing. We have to have a strong economic system. We have to have sound money, no inflation, low interest rates, and jobs. It's the only way that we can take care of people.
Libertarians believe most, if not all, of the services that government now provides would be better handled by the private sector. Services such as mail delivery and education.
80% of the money collected for education stays in Washington and run the bureaucracy. The kids that aren't being better educated, the teachers aren't getting better salaries by sending money to Washington. It'd be much better for people in local cities to manage their school affairs. We'd like to see some competition.
There are some 200,000 people registered as Libertarians. Most of them are in the West. The best showing a Libertarian candidate for president has mustered was in 1980, when Ed Clark garnered about 1 million votes. Party leaders are hoping that Ron Paul will do even better. For the 10 o'clock news, I'm Marcus Jones.